And we're here live with Checkered Flag Interactive at Daytona International Superspeedway for the first race of 8 in the intensely twisted sim racing series for their Super 8 Superspeedway series.
This season, there are big prizes on the line, as first place in points will get $70, second place in points will get $50, third place in points will get $40, fourth place in points will get $30, and fifth place in points will get $20. So all these drivers are racing for cash prizes this season, so it should be exciting to watch.
Not that long ago, we got the first season wrapped up with Josh Chaney came away with the victory when everything was said and done. And, coming into this season, I don't know if he's racing or not for sure the whole season, but I got a feeling if he keeps it up, he's been lucky at the super speedway tracks. This could be another season for him to win the $70 prize that the winner at the end of the season gets.
Yeah, we have a couple of contenders from last season. As you said, Josh Chaney's racing tonight, Frank Coons, and Douglas Wyatt are championship contenders I see from last season that are racing tonight.
Not that many new faces really tonight at all. We've got Brandon Chaburko and Brandon Hoff. We saw them last season. Almost everyone is a returner.
Yeah, I only see a couple new names here tonight. As you said, most of these guys have ran in the series before and are returning back.
Tonight's field only consists of 14 drivers, but don't get discouraged. 14 drivers can give you a great race when everything is said and done. Even 4 drivers, you can have a great finish and a lot of fun throughout the entire race. Hopefully with a 14-size field and no resets this time around. That's different this season. Everyone's going to race with their head on, and they're all going to try to at least make it to the end.
Yeah, I would say tonight we should probably expect some clean racing, and then it might get a little crazy at the end, but with these super speedway races, that is expected.
A little bit crazy or a lot of bit crazy. Either way, it doesn't matter to me because I got a feeling it's going to be a great race. Super speedway tracks are just so much fun. And when you get a great group of people, even in the Carburetor Cup races, if you have a good group of people racing on the track, they're a lot of fun. It's just easy and competitive for everyone. And anyone has a chance, and that's why it's just so much fun.
Yeah, going into super speedway race, you never know who's gonna win. Everybody, I think, has a fair chance to win these things, and that's what I love about super speedways. Everybody's got a chance to win.
Exactly, and you really don't know who's the winner until they cross the line. Just earlier this week, I had a race in my league, and I was in third coming off of turn 4, and it was at Daytona. The 2 guys went 2 file or double wide in front of me, and I looked to the inside, made it 3 wide. The guy came down on me to block me. He spun. The guy on the top side got wrecked too, and I ended up winning the race, and the guy below me was backwards, and the guy above me was in the wall. I had no clue who was going to win. It could have been me or any of the other guys up there. And once we crossed the line, I still didn't even know I won until it told me.
Yeah, and I think we saw a lot of good racing and good finishes from this league last season, and I think we probably will see the same this season.
Yeah, definitely with the faces we're seeing in here, we've got some really good drivers, and really good drivers mean really good races when it comes down to it. Hopefully everyone races with their head again, and when it comes to the finish, hopefully we'll have a big pack up front and 2, maybe even 3 wide racing here. Next week, we're going to Michigan for 80 laps in the B car. So that's going to be interesting. Last season, we didn't go to any other tracks except Daytona and Talladega. And this season, there's a few tracks that are even to be announced right now.
And tonight, we do have 2 pro drivers in the field, Brandon Chibirko and Brandon Hoff, so be interesting to see how they do tonight. I think they'll do pretty well.
And I do need to correct myself. As we've been sitting here, 3 more drivers have dropped into the field with no qualifying, and they'll be in the race too. So 17 drivers, 80 laps. We're going to have fun.
And right now we are waiting for all the cars to take the grid. Right now we have a few, but we're still waiting for the rest of them.
And as for the weather tonight, we have it set at 81 degrees, partly cloudy. The wind coming from the north at 2 miles per hour, and the humidity only 81%. Perfect Daytona weather.
Yeah, and tonight's race is 80 laps. So these guys are going to have to, take it easy the first little bit here. Long race.
These 80 laps can really go by in a fly. It can, depending on how many cautions you have, you can wrap this whole race up in about 70 minutes, just over an hour. But if you have a lot of cautions, it could also last up to 2 hours. And I got a feeling it's going to have a few cautions, but I think after one or two, it's going to straighten right up and we'll have a great race.
Yeah, I think we should expect, I would say I expect most of this to go under green flag, as I think saw a lot of good green flag racing last season. As we said, 80 laps is a long time, so you gotta just take it easy and wait to be there at the end.
And as the drivers are gridding up on pit road, we've got Brandon Turberco in the number 11 on the inside pole. On the outside, we've got the number 23 of Brandon Hoff. In the second row, with the number 51 of Jason Altmans, with Steven Almindo in the number 81 on the outside. Rounding out the top five, we've got Jose Gonzalez in the number 26.
Starting 6th in the number 98 car is Greg Hooks. Starting 7th in the number 33 car is Nick Lancaster. Starting 8th in the number 25, Douglas Wyatt. Starting 9th is the number 76 of Frank Busilia III. And starting 10th, our last season's champion, Josh Cheney.
And starting 11th, I can't say his last name, so I'll just go with the number 22 of Joey P. I don't know if you've got his name, but I sure don't. You want to pronounce it for me?
I think it's Piccolella.
Definitely some interesting names in the field, as always on iRacing. And in the 12th spot, we've got the number 47 of Eric Arnold. In 13th, we've got the number 48 of Frank Coons. In 14th, we've got the number 2 of Damon Burnett. And rounding out the top 15, we've got the number 84 of Jimmy North.
Starting 16th will be the number 3 car of Edison Lima Jr. And rounding out your field, starting 17th, is going to be the number 04 of Taylor Burris.
And as our drivers go down the backstretch coming into turn 3 and 4, everyone's got it on their mind. Will I be the winner? Only one person can win, but at the end of the season, 5 people come away with cash. So it doesn't always mean that you have to win. Coming away in second and third can still get you a pretty nice cash prize when everything's over with.
Yeah, I think most of these guys have their eyes on that first place $70 prize, and so that will make things interesting for sure this season. And the pace car's coming off at turn 4 as we're about to go green.
And coming off of turn 4, as he said, the pace car will be diving down any second now. And race number 1 of 8 will be underway, and the pace car dives down. The green flag is out, and we are green, green, green for race number 1 of 8.
Brandon Chabirko is going to get a good jump here, as he's going to clear Brandon Hoff, and he's going to be out front. 51's right behind him.
Right now we see a little bit of early bump drafting. I don't think we're going to see too much tandeming right now. I think everyone's going to ride in the pack as we see 3 wide towards the rear of the field. Almost into the wall. You couldn't squeeze a piece of paper between them.
Yeah, it looks like that 3 wide was between the 22, 2, and 47. As it looks like now it's just going to be a battle between the 22 and the 2. And we've got a couple other battles up here for about, I think, 7th place.
And it almost looks like he's just going to drop in line. The number 23 of Brandon Hoff, he started on the outside pole. He's already dropped back to about 8th on the leaderboard, and he's just continuing to drop back. It's probably a strategy play, and I'm not sure, if so, why he tried to qualify up there. Maybe it was a fluke. Who knows?
Yeah, I believe he is teammates with Damon Burnett, so he might be falling back there to pick up his teammate and work with him and try to work his way back up to the front here in a little bit.
Everything is single file towards the front as Brandon Chibroko leads the number 51 of Jason Altman's, and everyone's just riding right now, which is a good thing to see.
Yeah, I think everybody's just taking it easy and waiting for the end here. As yeah, not a lot of action going on up front right now.
And there's about a 8-car breakaway, 9-car breakaway, and then we've got a separation between the two packs, and there's about 6 cars just lurking back there. Everyone's single file on the track, and everyone's waiting for their moves, and I think this is good. And with such a small field, I think we might see this more than we would if we had 35, 40 cars on the track.
Yeah, and right now it'll be interesting to see how long Jason Altmans will be able to stay behind Brandon Chibroko, as these cars do have a 50% set tape on them, and he might need to get some air here soon.
Although, I do believe the way he's driving right now, as you watch him through the corners, the 51 backs off by about a quarter of a car length. That gets some air in his car. And in the corners, you can afford to let off, especially when everyone's single file. And you can stay behind the guy in front of you for pretty much the entire time. And as long as you don't push it too hard, you can keep your temperature around 250, 240, and be okay. But as soon as you need to start pushing, you're going to have to get more air to your car and start switching with your partner.
Yeah, I mean, temperatures, the drivers will have to watch their temperatures very carefully tonight, as where it is 50% tape, the cars get a lot hotter quicker, and you might blow up quicker.
And blowing up is definitely not what anyone wants to do here. As I look back towards that second pack, we've actually got some shuffling around for position, and everything's really unorganized back there. We've got about 2 cars that are pushing, and everyone else is separated, running almost too wide, and I don't know what they're doing. Maybe they're just waiting.
I mean, I don't know if they're waiting or if they want to catch these guys, though. I think they all need to get in a line and just draft each other up there, as that would, I think, be the quickest thing for them to do. But as you said, they might be riding back here just waiting.
Yeah, there's only 2 drivers that are actually pushing it, and that is the number 23 of Hoff and Damon Burnett, his teammate. So Eric Arnold's trying to cling on to the draft, but he's losing it as those 2 cars are pushing, and he has nobody behind him and nobody in front of him.
Yeah, he's got a couple car links back to actually quite a few car links to the cars back behind him, and then the 2 and the 23 are only going to pull away from him because they're hooked up and he's just riding by himself.
And up front, we've got a car in the apron. I'm not sure what transpired there, but everyone's going to just, let off, give him some space, and he's going to pull right back up, and it was the number 33 of Nick Lancaster who went down there.
Yeah, it's too early to be pinning people down on the apron, because when you get into the corners, if you're pinned on the apron, you're probably going to spin out.
Actually, I see him ducking down there again. I think he's just ducking down for air. I don't think anyone pushed him down there, because that's what he's doing right now. He's just ducking down there, getting some cool air to his car, and he might be setting up to make a move or just to cool off his car.
Yeah, a lot of these times in these super speedway races, people do tend to duck out below the apron to get air to their car. And it looks like, though, Nick Lancaster is one of the only people doing that. I think I might see a couple other people doing it, though.
Going back to what you said, your car lengths must be extremely long if that whole 5 or 3 second gap is only a couple car lengths.
Yeah, right now, though, still not a lot of action going on up front. These guys, are taking it easy. Right now we're riding on board with Nick Lancaster in the 33 car. He's in 4th place right now.
Interesting paint scheme as always on his vehicle tonight. He's got the truck trailer service for his TTS sponsor all over his beautiful pink and silver car. Looks good. As always, he's got pink and silver on his car.
Yeah, and right now, I think possibly the pack behind, or the second pack, has got a couple cars formed together. The 23, 2, and 47, I think they are catching the lead pack.
Yeah, you do see a couple cars pushing back there, which is probably why they're catching, because these guys up front, they're really not pushing. Everyone's just riding right now. And, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, really. I think it's a good strategy. And you'll probably hear it from me a few times as it looks like Brandon Chaburko's letting the 51 get some air there. Maybe some cars are starting to get hot as we're almost 10 laps into the run, so let's just keep watching.
And I think we will continue to see the cars run like this for a while. It's good strategy just to wait till the end, because as we've said, there are no resets this season like there were last season. So if you wreck, your night is over.
You know, I really agree with them turning the resets off. I don't remember how many they had last season, but I do remember, though, I was listening to the driver chat quite a few times. People were just, they knew they had resets, so they'd take chances they normally wouldn't. As we see, the part of the second pack is actually caught up, and they're coming on the outside with Brandon Hoff leading them, and the number 2 of Damon Burnett pushing them, with the number 47 of Eric Arnold still clinging onto his draft.
Yeah, and as we, go back to talking about the resets, it forces you to, take it a little bit more easy, because, if, as I said, if you wreck, your night is over, and it looks like Braden Hoff's coming on the high line with Damon Burnett and Eric Arnold, and they might try and make a move for the lead here on the backstretch.
And let me tell you, they must have been flying, because just a couple laps ago they were 4 seconds behind, and now they are right there coming on the outside, going to squeeze down, get the side draft. The 23 is going to get clear, but the 2 is going to stay with them on the outside, and they're going to have to make another run on the front stretch. Probably they'll clear them, and then they'll drop down on the inside line, and maybe we'll see some racing going on up front.
Yeah, I think as much as they were pushing to get up here, Damon Burnett's car might be too hot to keep pushing Brandon Hoff up there, but the important thing for them right now is they are back up there with the lead pack. And yes, Brandon Hoff's going to duck high, I believe, to let Damon Burnett get that air.
And things are definitely getting a little bit awkward up there. Everyone's not sure where to go, it looks like. And we're almost seeing that outside line start to form as we see the number 76 go up there too, and the 38's going to follow him, it looks like.
Yeah, and the number 51 of Jason Altmans is going to move into the lead, and the 26 is going to move into second. Our leader, Brandon Chabirko, is back to third, but he's going to try making a run on the high side here.
Yeah, but it looks like everybody's just testing the waters right now. Nobody's really pushing the issue. What are you going to do about it? Everyone's got to make it to the end, so, watch your neighbor and they'll watch after you later.
Yeah, right now, other than the 47 and 11 pushing each other, the field still remains single file, and the 11's going to come back and try to take the lead with the 47 on his bumper. It doesn't look like they're going to get it done there, but they're going to have to try for the run on the front stretch.
And right now, that front pack consists of 14 cars. Right now, about 5 seconds back from that pack, we've got the number 22, the number 48, and the number 3, and they're driving, nobody's really pushing back there. They're just driving side by side, and they're probably banking on a caution happening eventually. And I got a feeling it might come soon. Watching Nick Lancaster dive down to get air, sometimes he's getting dangerously close to cutting people off, and we've got a blown motor, and everybody's diving off everywhere.
I don't think that's going to bring out a caution, but it does cause all the drivers to duck low and go the outside and try to dodge him. It just caused the whole field to just go everywhere right there, and you just got to watch your tips carefully or that'll happen.
And it's definitely too early. That was the number 26 of Jose Gonzalez. And he's always there at the end, and it's a real bummer to see him out early, especially only being lap 14. Really too early for that to be happening.
And I think this will probably cause the drivers to, even keep a closer eye on their temperatures now, knowing that, wait, you can blow up just that easy, so they're just going to probably try to keep their temps cool for now and then try to, have them ready to go at the end.
And, really now, It's single file. There's not much to talk about. So, how was your day?
It's pretty good.
I think my day's pretty good right now watching this race. It's pretty fun. I got a feeling everyone's using their heads. And usually when this happens, when the end of the race comes around, everyone's still using their heads. Sure, they're going 2 and 3 wide, but these guys actually know what they're doing, and I think they'll be able to pull off 2 and 3 wide easily, no problem. And I remember last season, anytime we saw 2 and 3 wide, it ended in an accident. I mean, every single time. So hopefully this will be the right combination for a great finish, and everybody at home will really enjoy this one.
Yeah, and it looks like Brandon Hoff and Damon Burnett are going to try to make a run for the lead. Brandon Hoff tried going by himself, and he made some progress, but when they went into the corner, he lost it. But now Damon Burnett's pushing him, and that'll probably help him clear these guys.
And with Jose Gonzalez out of the race, that drops it down to only 16 cars left on the track.
And right now, it looks like Brandon Hoff's going to get clear of the 51. Damon Burnett, he's not going to get clear, but that'll move Brandon Hoff to the lead.
And let me tell you, that is a painful thing when that happens to you, when you're abandoned on the outside, especially after you push the guy up there. Luckily for him, he'll be able to drop down about 4th position, but a lot of times you get unlucky and you don't get to drop in place and hang up with him. You get stuck on the outside and you drop back to the tail end of the field. And once you're at the tail end, you're just along for the ride. Anything can happen to you. At least when you're up in the front, you can kind of control your fate.
Yeah, and right now it seems like, up front is where the guys are taking it easy, and Damon Burnett's going to make a move to the outside with Nick Lancaster, one of his teammates, and maybe that's part of their strategy to get all 3 of the drivers on their team up to the front there.
Maybe, who knows? But one thing's for sure, once you get on that outside line, even if you only have 2 cars, if you can time your side drafts just right on the front stretch and the back stretch, you'll be able to pull ahead of the bottom line and get dropped right down there. And I think that's something interesting in these A cars. You don't really see that too often in the C-Class trucks and the B-Class cars. It's harder to do. The side draft's really influential in these cars.
Yeah, and right now, it looks like Damon Burnett and Nick Lancaster are going to fall back a little bit. So they weren't able to get the run, and we've got the 51 and the 11 making a move for the lead, and they're going to get clear of the 23, and Jason Altman's going to be your leader.
And the number 23 of Brandon Hoff looks to the outside, and Damon Burnett's going to go up there too. And everyone's right now is everyone's just driving. It's a highway right now. I think that's what it is. Only a highway at almost 200 miles an hour.
Yeah, I mean, we're only 20 laps into this 80-lap race, so still got a long ways to go in it.
Oh, yeah. And we're going to drop right into the gyro cam with Brandon Hoff on the outside line. Going into these steeply banked corners, it's going to be interesting to watch just how much this camera really tilts. Careful, guys, if you have motion sickness, because we're going sideways.
Yep, and Brandon Hoff's going to try to make a run to the lead with the 47. I might be able to get up on the outside of the 51 as the 11 and 51 get separated, but 47 keeps pushing him. They should have the run to get by him.
Yep, going through the corner, they're probably going to come close to breaking even. As soon as you get on the backstretch, that side drift just latches right onto you. And as long as your guy in your back bumper pushes you good, you'll be, sitting pretty going into turn 3 and 4.
And the 23 is going to get clear of the 51. The 47, he's not going to quite get clear of him. But the 23 is going to move down from the 51, and he will be our new leader.
Interesting enough, that's the second time we saw Brendan Hoff do that to someone, and this time he comes back out to the outside and the 47 will pick him up again, but that's the second time he's gotten to the lead, dropped down, and left the guy on the outside hanging.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that can just be a product of the super speedway racing, and we're 3 wide, and Damon Burnett's coming up the middle, and he's going to move into 4th place, and he's going to I think start pushing Brendan Chabirko.
Yeah, we saw 3 wide in the 17 just scrape that, or the 47 scrape the wall on the outside. That could have been bad. I know how sticky these walls get. You tap it one time, you either knock your toe out or you get stuck and get launched into everybody. That could have been really ugly really early.
Yeah, and for the lead here, we are side by side. I think Brandon Chabirko led that last lap just barely, and he's going to clear the 51 and drop down, and that's going to hang Damon Burnett out on the outside.
And let me tell you, Damon Burnett's had that happen 2 times in a row, and I wonder if it's a planned thing for everybody. You know, they're probably talking on their private channel, setting everything up, but it might just be a product of the racing we're seeing right now. Everyone's just, going where they can and taking what they got, and hopefully don't wreck your car.
And right now in third place, we got Taylor Burris. He's made his way into the top 5 now, so he's having a good run going right now. As Damon Burnett's going to pass him, though, for that third spot.
Yeah, a little bit of lag right there. Damon Burnett went to give him a push, and it looked like he went inside his bumper and some smoke came out. It looks like that's the reason the 04 went up there, so that could have been bad too, because lag can be so disastrous, so disastrous. I hate it so much, and the 04 almost cut off the 99 of Josh Chaney.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was his intentions to come off. He was just, clear, and maybe it was closer than he thought it was. That happens to me plenty of times, and it gets close.
Oh, it gets close, and it gets hairy, and it's time to shave it and save it, keep it off the wall, keep it off the other bumpers, and, keep going straight, And we still have a 3-car pack way behind everybody, about half a lap behind of Frank Coons and the number 3 and the number 22. They're back. They're still running side by side. Nobody's pushing. And the number 84 of Jimmy North is the odd man out in between both packs, all alone, dropping back, and eventually he'll be there with that pack of 3 and make it a pack of 4.
Yeah, and right now it looked like Damon Burnett maybe was going to peek out and make a run for the lead, but he and Brendan Hoff decided not to go, and they got a pretty good run right there, but they decided not to make a move, as I guess they're just content riding right now.
And going into turn 1, I'm not sure if my producer hears me, but I think it is time for a commercial break and a holler out to our sponsors, and you agree with me? Alright, the producer agrees with me, so I think we will take a commercial break any second now. We'll be back at Daytona. Welcome back to Daytona International Superspeedway. We're at lap 30 here of 80. Jason Altman's in the number 51 is leading the field with the number 2 of Damon Burnett right behind him. We're coming close to pit stops here in about 10 to 15 laps, and we're still single file, still green flag, no caution so far. We've got 13 cars in this lead pack, and everybody's switching it up, trying to make some moves and testing out the water, seeing what they can and what they can't do before it becomes too late to know it.
And right now we saw Damon Burnett just go the lead, and he did something that's happened. He's gotten hung out on the outside quite a bit, but this time he's the one that pulls down, and though it looks like the 23 is going to make a run to the lead with the 33 behind him.
Yeah, here 31 laps into this race, we're seeing a lot more racing than we have so far, and it's really no surprise. Everybody's probably getting a little bit bored with themselves, a little bit impatient. They've probably been cut off a few times, and whoa, the 33 getting real loose off the 23, saves it, comes up back onto the track, right in the line. Everyone keeps going, so luckily that could have been real bad, so everyone's good there. But as I said, 32 laps into this now, 30 laps ago, all we saw was single file racing, and now we're starting to see runs on the outside. Everyone's trying to make some moves, see what they got. And again, we're seeing the 33 dive down onto the apron, and I'm assuming still he's trying to get air. But what he's really doing is creating a dangerous situation. As you saw in the backstretch, the number 2 car had nobody pushing behind him, but assume someone was pushing behind him. He got that tiny shove, and the 33 got blocked on the apron. He has basically 3 things that can happen. He can either get stuck down there, check up, and fall back and not wreck everybody, or he gets stuck down there and takes out the whole field, or a mixture of both.
Oh, and he's going to catch the apron, gets really loose. Everybody's going to be able to get by him. Ooh, that was a close call for a lot of cars up there.
Holy cow, was that a save. He basically drifted the entire corner. He didn't have it fully saved until he was on the backstretch. And now he's going to be dropping back because there's nobody back there to help him.
And he's going to have to hope for a caution because it is not good to go down pit road by yourself on green flag stops.
Well, let me tell you, though, if they keep racing like they are right now, we're going to see a caution soon, and I'm amazed, absolutely amazed that did not turn out bad because he was all over the place on the apron, on the racing line, and everybody checked up just in time. And it actually looks like his teammate, the number 23 of Brandon Hoff, will be dropping back from. And if it's anything like it was earlier, he'll be able to push back up there within about 5 laps.
Yeah, definitely. And if we do manage to stay green, I think we're going to be coming up on a pit stop here in about 5 laps or so. I would expect most of these guys to take gas only, but you never know.
Well, really here, you're going to have to fill your tank all the way, and I'm assuming most drivers will try to make it to about lap 41 to 42. So just in case we don't have any cautions, they'll have for sure enough fuel to make it to the end no matter what. And, you have to fill your tank, and it takes about 11 seconds to do that. So why not get at least 2 tires and rotate it around to the other side if you do have to make another pit stop?
Yeah, definitely. I think, if we see cars pitting, within the next 2 laps, I don't think they'll be okay on fuel, but if they can manage to go the next 5, 6, or 7 laps, I think they should be good to go to the end, but I'm not sure how they're going to be on fuel, so it'll be interesting to see.
And usually we call this a green flag run, but I'm thinking this is more of a green flag marathon. We've been going for a while. This is really nice to see green flag racing, and I bet the drivers are kind of thinking, wow, this is strange. We don't have this very often.
Yeah, and these guys are probably, they've got their mind on, winning the big prize at the end of the season, and, if you're sitting in the garage at the end of the race, you're not going to, it's going to hurt you in the points quite a bit, so these guys, I think, are doing some points racing right now, and just trying to take it easy until it counts.
I'm not sure what happened to the number 84 of Jimmy North, but he's 5 laps down as we speak, and he just slammed himself into an invisible barrier on pit road. And pretty confident that was on purpose, as we see some cars actually diving down pit road from that pack that was about 35 seconds behind him. And Jimmy North, he damaged his car. I'm not sure if it was on purpose. It must have been. But he's 5 laps down, so he's definitely out of the hunt for sure with no resets and quite a bit of damage on his car.
And right now it looks like the 22, the number 3, and the 48 were the ones that came down pit road. I'm not sure that they're going to be able to make it on gas from pitting on lap 36.
Yeah, I really don't think that they will either. And as we see some drivers up front diving down too from the back of that lead pack, and it looks like we're going to see, let me look here, as we see 3 wide. Oh, this is getting hairy. We'll check pit road real quick in a second as we see the number 2 of Damon Burnett shoving his way through the middle. The 99's getting loose. Everybody hold on. They've got it. 33 and the number 2 on the outside.
Ooh, that was crazy, and I mean, that probably caused some of the drivers to, jump out of their seat. Ooh, and we about to see contact between the 81 and 2 car, and it'll be interesting to see when these guys pit, because I think unless you can make it to about lap 40 or 41, I don't think you can make it on gas.
And as we saw on pit road, we saw the number 76 of Frank Busilia III and the number 98 of Greg Hooks. They dive down pit road, and I got a feeling they will be right on the outside edge of making it to the...
and we've got a crash on the front stretch.
I do see the number 33 of Nick Lancaster in the grass with some rear end damage, catching some air in the infield. No caution yet, I don't believe.
Yeah, it looks like Nick Lancaster, his engine got a little too hot. He's pushing Damon Burnett pretty hard. He blew up and he lost so much speed, and Brandon Hoff just didn't have enough time to react. Ran into the back of him, and that sent the 33 right into the 81 car. Just a bad deal for those cars.
Yeah, I got a feeling Brandon Hoff, he's out of the hunt too. I'm not sure if he's going to have issues with overheating. His front end is damaged quite a bit. And I do know from experience, your radiator gets even the slightest bit of damage, you are done. I mean, you're going to have to go down pit road, get it fixed. And another thing is that front end damage is going to make it really hard for someone to push him around the track. He's going to have to dive down behind someone. And with the damage, it's already going to be hot in the first place. He won't be able to push very long.
Yeah, on my screen it shows Brandon Hoff without a front clip, so that'll hurt the downforce on it as well. And it's a bad deal for all 3 of those cars involved. And we got quite a few cars hitting pit road this lap.
And I'd also like to mention the first guy diving down pit road, the number 81 of Steven Almindo. He's got a lot of front end damage too, and I got a feeling he's got some trouble coming ahead of him. Unless there's the caution and he can get it fixed, he's probably out of the hunt too.
Yeah, and I think we had a couple cars miss pit road. I think we had Douglas Wyatt. He locked up the brakes and just spun it out into the grass, and then we had the 3 car of Edison Lima just, I guess he's coming in too hot and just missed. Oh wait, no, that wasn't Edison Lima.
Yeah, he's driving around by himself, 192 going in turn 1 in 15th position. He's all alone, and we've got quite a few cars a lap down now, and it's because they were so far behind. They had to pit early too. And somehow, some way, neither one of the guys that pit early, they didn't get connected, and everyone's separated right now that pit real early. So I'm not sure how this is going to shake out, but it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and Taylor Burrs pulled off the track. He had some trouble getting off pit road. He spun out.
Ooh, we've got the 3 wrecking in turn 3 and 4. He just hit the wall, and I don't know how. He was on the front or on the back stretch. He hit the wall, and now he's diving down pit road. I'm not sure what just happened.
And from the way it looks, he's going to get hit with the speeding penalty. It looked like he was well over 100 miles an hour coming down.
Sorry for cutting you off. That was just really interesting. I was watching him, and everything was good, and then he started wiggling, and he hit the wall.
And it looks like we have some of our contenders hit with speeding penalties. Jason Oltmans and Damon Burnett are coming back down pit road, and the only thing I can think of why they'd come back down is for speeding penalties.
Yep, and that's what it looks like it is, and Number 23 is coming down pit road too. I'm not sure if it's a penalty or if he's getting damage fixed or what. And actually, according to the producer, we've got the number 2 and the number 51. They got together and they collected the inside wall, and I guess they must have went down for damage or they never got to pit or something.
Yeah, and that takes some cars out of the front running order. It looks like the top 4, the only cars, still really up in the front is, 5th place is 11 seconds off those cars. So it looks like right now it's just a 4-car race. If we get a caution here soon, that'll bring some cars back into it.
Yeah, it's hard to... Oh, wow, they're diving right through those lap-down cars as they're going about 20 miles an hour faster than them. I always hate to see this happen under green flags, pit stops. Everything goes good until they dive down pit road. And once everybody starts diving down pit road, you start to see people dropping like flies. And it's a bummer because we had a big 14-car pack for the entire race. So it's a bummer to only see 5 cars up there and one of them being a lap down. The number 11 and the number 51 almost collect each other on the apron on the backstretch. Wow, that was close.
And that's going to remove Brandon Chibirko from this front pack, and I think that's going to put it down to just a 3-car pack for the lead now. And, I think if we get a caution, that'll get some guys back up into the pack, but right now it's just a 3-car race.
A 3-horse race up front, and everybody else is just trying to catch up.
Yeah, if we get a caution, a couple of these cars will be able, I think, to take the wave around, and we do have a lucky dog, so they're gonna get up here, and it looks like Frank Coons might be racing for his lap the hard way, so he's right up here with these leaders, 1 lap down.
And he's in good position to get the lucky dog because there's a 4... Oh, he gets real loose right there, wow. There's 4 cars up there, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna get separated now, but Josh Chaney needed a partner. And as they come up on other lap-down cars, they would have, stayed together and they would have kept pushing each other. So even if they did get to another lap-down car, they just would have fell behind him and he would have been up in prime position. And I guess Josh Chaney's going to fall back for him. Not sure why he got so loose. Must have been a little bit of lag on the corner, but man, things got really interesting lately.
And we got Joey Piccolella, and he's also battling for the lucky dog. So this will be an interesting battle between him and Frank, and
yeah, they've been running together most of the race too, and they were in that pack just all alone in a completely different time zone, and now that they're together, it looks like the number 22 is dropping back. He's going to almost lose the draft. That'll be interesting if the number 48 and number 99 get together. They'll just push right away from him.
And the 99 falling back to catch his partners, allowing the 98 and the 76 of Frank Busilia to pull away a little bit.
And don't look now, the number 51 and the number 11 of Brandon Chibirko, they're coming. They'll be back up in the mix within another lap or so.
Yeah, and just as I was saying about the 98 and 76 pulling away, looks like Josh Chaney and his partner in the 48 have caught back up there.
I'm not sure if it's so much a partner or like a one-night stand here. They pushed a little while, and the 48 dropped right off and picked up the number 22, and it looks like he's going to bring the 22 up there. Interesting strategy. That's just one more person to race for that lucky dog, assuming the caution comes out anytime soon.
Yeah, right now it's just, a 3-car race. Brandon Chibirko, he's a couple cars back, but, he might be able to make his way back up there and battle for this win.
And on the track right now, as far as I know, we've only got 12 cars actually running. And the number 3 is the last person running on the track, and he's 4 laps down, and he's having a tough time. I'm not sure what's going on, but I've looked back on him a couple times, and each time I've looked at him, he's been bouncing off the wall.
Yeah, I mean, I think he lost the draft, early on. If you lose the draft, at, in these races, it's just tough to stay on the lead lap. As cars that are drafting can go up to about 10 miles an hour faster.
As we see some 3 wide up front, a couple lap down cars in the mix. They don't care. They're just driving. Trying to make some moves, and I said myself twice. Whoops. They're just driving. I don't know what they're doing. I really don't understand. Nobody's really gained anything out of it, but they're just racing. With 30 laps to go, I think it's just time to ride. I don't think anybody on the track expected to go this far with no cautions. I certainly didn't.
And Braden Trabirko has found himself back up here with these lead cars. He's working with the 51 car that is 2 laps down. They were working with each other early on in the race, so they might be partners till the end, though.
Partners to the end? I don't know if I'd go that far. At Daytona, at Talladega, anywhere you need a drafting partner, when it comes to the end, you just go with the guy that's going to push you.
Yeah, and sometimes that is what you have to do to win the race, but right now Braden Trabirko is going to come to the outside with the help of the 51, and he's going to lead that lap, and he's going to clear the 98.
But is he going to clear or is the 51 going to clear him with him? The 51 dives down low, and the number 11 stuck up high. Looks like he'll have room to dive down, and he does. So luckily that worked out for the both of them, but if it didn't, one of them would have been left out to dry and then would have been at the back of the pack.
Yeah, with as hard as the 51 was pushing to get him up there, I'd say the 51 was maybe having some heating problems, and he just let him get some air. And now Brandon Trabirko is going to take over the job of pushing.
And really, that was a brilliant switch, and usually you don't see that too much in where they did. But when you switch on anywhere other than the corners, you can usually lose a lot of momentum. But what they did was they got enough momentum to get the guy in front clear, and the guy in back dropped back, got the slingshot, was able to dive down, and the guy on the outside was able to dive back down, and everyone was good. So that was a pretty good switch, and usually that doesn't work out like that.
Yeah, I mean, and we have seen a pretty good race tonight. Looked like quite a few cars had trouble getting onto pit road, so that I think is the reason for most of the cars being put a lap down. As right now, I think we only have 11 cars on track.
And luckily and unluckily for some, that will be the last time that they probably go down pit road. So as long as we stay green, I don't foresee many people needing another pit stop. It's going to be really, really close. Most drivers didn't make it to the halfway point, and they were able to. Now, you do need to consider they did. I don't know if iRacing makes it so you use fuel under the parade laps, but assuming they did, they'll have about another half a lap, maybe a lap of fuel in the car.
Yeah, and I mean, I think with that, not too many more cars coming down pit road, that's going to heat up the battle for the lucky dog. With some of these guys knowing that if there is a caution, they might not be able to get the wave around.
I just think it's really interesting. I don't really foresee a caution unless something interesting happens up front, because everyone's watching their P's and keeping their Q's right in order. And, I mean, you really don't see too much going on right now.
I mean, we still have, over 25 laps left, so, I mean, there's still plenty of time to make your move. And, I mean, as we said, there's only 4 cars running up here, so they're probably just taking it easy, make sure they all make it to the end.
Yeah, and interesting enough, too, even with those couple lap down cars, they're in not a terrible position overall. Well, they won't be in it for the win unless they get their lap back, obviously. They're sitting in 6th and 7th, or 7th and 8th, which really, when it comes down to it, isn't a terrible points night after all.
Yeah, and I mean, right now we only have really 2 cars on the track battling for the lucky dog. We have 3 cars 1 lap down, but Jason Altman's, is 1 lap down. He's leading this pack, so he would have to drive all the way back around and catch up those guys to be battling for spots with them.
And what he could do, and what I do foresee being a very strong possibility, is assuming he stays up front, I foresee shoot, the guys going down pit road just to give him the wave around. Because chances are at least 2 or 3 people would pit just to assure they had enough fuel, and if everyone had common sense, they would too. And he did pit a little bit later than everybody, so he should have enough fuel to go to the end if he was careful under caution.
Yeah, and that brings back Joey Piccolella and Frank Coons pitted on lap 37. I think they might be just short on fuel, as you said. They might pit.
And we do have 11 cars still running on track, and only 6 of them are on the lead lap. And 2 of the guys on the lead lap are half a track behind, the number 47 of Eric Arnold and the number 25 of Douglas Wyatt. They're just in a land all their own right now. And as we see, that front pack is 9 cars. The number 3 has Edison Lima Jr. He's kind of latched onto the draft. I'm not sure what he's doing. He's all over the place, but he's there. He's 5 laps down, so it's not going to do him too much good, but he's there.
Yeah, I mean, and the good thing about staying on is, I mean, if cars do wreck out and they're unable to complete laps, I mean, you can still get some good points out of it. And I mean, points, I'd say, are the big thing for a lot of these guys, as we are having cash payouts this season.
Well, something I always think about, right now I'm counting the cars. We've got 2, 4, 6, 8 with him. So someone has to be the odd man out, and if he latches on, that'll be a tandem. So maybe he can work some magic and work with someone on the lead lap, push him to the win or something, and they might have to repay the favor sometime later. And that's always a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a good thing to try to get out here and make some friends. And so, yeah, I mean, if you ever need help, they're there for you.
Yep, I can't remember how many times I've been a lap down in a race because something stupid happened. I got a black flag, I helped a buddy out, pushed him to a win, and then a couple races later, oh, hey, nice to see you again. You want to help me out? Yeah, man, you helped me out. I mean, respect goes a long way, and helping someone out goes a long way, too. They'll remember it for sure.
Yeah, and, right now, it looks like Braden Chabirko is just, peeks out from air, occasionally. But, he's staying right on the 51's bumper, and they haven't done a switch since, they got up there to the front.
Yeah, when really, I think everyone's safe where they are. The number 11's ducking out for air, and the number 38, or the number 98, of Greg Hooks, he's sitting there in second place. He's not pushing the issue. I'm not sure if I do the same thing, but, he's letting the 11 do his thing, and the number 76 is just, agreeing with him. They're just riding right now.
Yeah, I mean, still plenty of time left to make your move. There's 20 laps left. I see most of these guys making their moves here, with inside 10 to go, because if we have a caution come out with 5 to go or less, that ends the race. So they're definitely probably going to be making their moves here within the next, I'd say, 10 to 12 laps.
And really, another thing I'd like to mention is the pace has dropped down quite a bit, and we're only going about 196 in the corners. Earlier, we were going roughly 200 throughout the entire track. That little tiny bit of fuel they could be saving might just help them out at the end, assuming they need just that little bit extra. And you never know. It could help them out.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'd go as far as saying it'd save them a lap or so, but it might come close to saving them about a half a lap, and when it comes down to it, all you might need is a half a lap if everyone else already had the pit.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too, when you're in a big pack at a super speedway race, it's, easy to save gas sometimes because, you can, just kind of have it at 3/4 throttle and still being able to keep pace up, or keep to pace with everybody else.
And right now, the number 51 is the car using the most fuel since he's basically leading the train. He's pulling all the cars behind him. And the number 11, Brandon Chabirko, he's behind him, saving the fuel, keeping his car pretty much cool because he's able to come up and get some cool air. So right now he's in a great position. He's able to save some fuel probably in the corners and come back on the front stretch and the back stretch and push a little bit and stay up there, stay in front, stay out of trouble. And he'll probably be there at the end too, and the 51 might be on his bumper.
Yeah, and right now, like I said, I'd say here, in about 10 laps or so, guys will be making their move to the front, and that's when people are actually going to have to, get with a partner and start going all out for it.
And as we are just below 20 laps to go, I think it is time to take a final commercial break unless we have a caution. And, we've got 20 laps to go. We've got about 5 cars in the mix that are actually racing for position. 8 cars actually up racing for it, so it'll be an interesting finish. We could have some good stuff going on.
tonight. Decided, just take it easy, run a clean race, and try to be there at the end. And that's what Greg Hooks did, and he got the victory out of it, and he'll be leading the points.
And as everything is wrapping up on track, I think it is time to pull in the winner and the top three for some post-race interviews. Do you think, Chris?
Yeah. We already.
All right, we've got our winner, Greg Hooks, in the booth. Congratulations on your victory. And how was that last 20 laps after pit stops, or the last 40 laps after pit stops? How do you think that worked out for you? Obviously, it worked out well if you came away with the victory.
Yeah, me, Frank, Brandon, and Jason were aiming for a 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm not sure what happened. We came up on Brandon and Jason after they made their pit stops, and I was actually going to check up and not take it 3 wide, and I got bumper grab, and I came down and got into his right rear, and that messed up Jason's race, which sucked, but I was just glad we were able to keep it green the entire race, just waited out to the end and battled that out like we did at the end there.
Now, with such a long run, did you really expect it to go that far?
I actually expected to be out within the first few laps. So, especially going caution-free the entire 80 laps was a really big surprise.
Was it at least fun to go that far? I know from experience sometimes having caution after caution can kind of be, I don't really want to say a hassle, but it can really make the race not feel very fun to a driver because you have to drive around 80, 90 miles an hour, and it really kills the racing experience.
Yeah, I mean, I really didn't get too intense with the racing until the last couple of laps there. So it was all right, just playing it safe and making sure we were able to get the win at the end.
All right, who made it happen for you? Who do you want to thank?
Well, first I want to thank Frank for pushing me to the win there, working with me, Brandon, Jason, thank Hippie's Paint Shop and ASCO Sanitary Services for putting on the league, and CJ for running it, and all of you guys in the booth for the broadcast.
All right, very good again. Congratulations on your victory. See you next week, buddy.
Thank you. See you guys.
And we're here with the second place finisher, Frank Busilia. Frank, talk about how your race went, and what are your thoughts on the race going green from lap 1 to lap 80?
It's nice to see. Nobody likes to see junk, or huge junk anyway. But I don't know, early in the race we tried staying up front, and then Greg and I probably fell back to around 12th or so and just rode it out. Had a clean shot to the pits, and from there rode till we could get to the finish and try going for the win.
Was your plan, just to wait till the end to make your move, or, what would you say your plan was going into this race?
Well, with no resets, I initially wanted to go to the back, and Greg and I qualified pretty close together, so we decided to hook up and rode up there for a few laps, and it got pretty racy, so we just rode at the back, took our time, and just happened to be when after pit stops we were up there in the top 5, so we just rode to the end. Worked out pretty well.
And you got anybody that you would like to give any shout outs to?
Sure. You guys for broadcasting Hippies Paint Shop and Exo Sanitary Services. Also like to send a shout out to Greg for the good win, and Jason and Brandon for working together. Thank you.
And last but definitely not least, we've got the third place finisher, the number 3 of Brandon Chaburko in the booth. How was your race? Are you okay with that third place finish?
Yes and no. Running first place for a lot of the race there, it's definitely disappointing, but I was happy to see Greg pull off the win, Frank get second, so I would rather lose to Frank and Greg, so it wasn't too bad.
If anything you could do differently this race, and if you were to repeat it, what would you do differently that would maybe even get you that victory?
I feel I messed up, I guess, on lap 79. I don't know if we just got bumper grabbed, touched bumpers wrong or what, but I got loose and was able to save it, and after that I figured I was probably stuck in third or getting second.
Yeah, and I do need to correct myself. You're the number 11, correct? You were on the outside. You were diving back in, getting the air. Were you getting the air each and every time through the corners, or were you just trying to, stay safe?
Yeah, it's just getting air with, he adds grill tape, CJ does, and it gets very hot pretty quickly, so.
Were you ever worried that you might cut the 98 off and end up getting put in the infield or anything, or did you have something worked out where you knew they'd back off for you when you needed to come back down?
No, Greg and I had that all planned and worked out, and we were just going to race hard at last, 2 laps.
With Michigan coming up next week, do you think Michigan's a good track for you? Do you have a good chance there?
Yeah, I think I'll have a pretty good shot at Michigan. It's not too bad of a track for me. It's one of my better tracks, so hopefully we'll come out with a win next week.
Alrighty, one more question before I ask you to thank whoever you got to thank. If you were to win the championship and win that $70, what would be the first thing you do with it?
That is a good question. I don't know, man. That's a good question.
You don't know? Go out and win another $70 with it, maybe. Who knows? And last but not least, again, who do you have to thank? Who made it possible for you tonight?
Definitely sponsors, Axo Sanitary Services and Hippies Paint Shop. CJ for putting on the league, and you guys for broadcasting. And big shout out to my partner Jason there.
Alrighty, good stuff. See you next week, and good luck at Michigan. Same to all the other drivers on the track. I think it's going to be another good race, and hopefully we might see some more people turn out.
Yes, thank you.
And that pretty much wrapped things up for Checkered Flag Interactive tonight at Daytona International Superspeedway, just before the 11 o'clock mark over in the Eastern time zones. For Steve Bonesteel and Chris Largen, this is Checkered Flag Interactive signing off.